In a pitch-black room, a girl is weeping directly into the camera lens. She seems to have encountered something terrifying. She constantly pleads for help to the camera, claiming she is being watched. However, halfway through the recording, the feed is suddenly disrupted by a mysterious force, followed immediately by the sound of violent banging coming from outside the house. The banging lasts only a moment. Amidst her panic, cries for help come from outside again. She opens the door and leaves the room, but from that moment on, she mysteriously vanishes, never to be seen by anyone again. In the blink of an eye, a week passes, and the girl's disappearance begins to dominate the news headlines. The girl's name is Riley, an internet celebrity who specializes in investigating paranormal events. Because of her bold adventures and filming style, Riley has millions of followers on social media, where everyone calls her the Paranormal Paranoid. Missing along with Riley are her 3 companions. Their destination for this expedition was a place called Shelby Oaks, northwest of Darke County, Ohio. It is said that in the 1990s, this was a bustling town. Then, one night, an unprecedented fire suddenly broke out, and hundreds of people unfortunately lost their lives in the blaze. Since then, phenomena that science cannot explain have frequently occurred here. Some residents claim to have seen 8-legged monsters in the forest. With the explosion of social media, this place became a hotspot for adventurers. Influencers and explorers have ventured deep into this area, hoping to uncover the secret of the so-called 8-legged monster. After a week of searching, police found Riley's team's filming equipment in a cabin deep in the forest. There were obvious signs of a struggle at the scene. Based on the footage left in the camera, the police speculated that Riley and her team might have encountered thugs or wild animals in the forest, leading to an attack and a tragic accident involving all 4 of them. The police immediately dispatched a large force to search the forest area, but after searching for a month, they found nothing. Not even their bodies. Because of the dense vegetation and the lack of clues, the police had to announce the case closed, defining their disappearance as an accident. However, when the police released the investigation results online, some influencers believed it was a publicity stunt, thinking Riley and her team were deliberately hiding in the forest to gain traffic. The disappearance of Riley's team made this small town go completely viral, with a swarm of influencers and reporters flocking to the scene. But just when everyone thought Riley and the others would suddenly return, they seemed to have evaporated from the face of the earth, never to appear again. As time passed, the heat surrounding the missing persons case quickly died down. Time flashes forward 12 years. Just as Riley's case had gone cold, a piece of news makes Shelby Oaks go viral again. 2 days ago, in the evening, local police suddenly received a report that explorers had found 3 bodies in a hotel on the outskirts of the oak forest. Upon receiving the report, local police rushed to the scene immediately. The state of the bodies was extremely bizarre. Their heads had been subjected to violent bludgeoning. Even more coincidental is that the room where the 3 explorers were murdered was the exact same room where Riley and her team had stayed years ago. Instantly, the legend of Shelby Oaks hit the headlines once more. To understand the ins and outs of the disappearance, some enthusiastic netizens used special software to restore the recording from the original Riley case. While watching the video, netizens were surprised to find that on the night Riley disappeared, the camera captured a strange reflection in the window of the door. The appearance of this reflection shifted the narrative from an accident to murder. Netizens began to suspect that the thug Riley encountered at the hotel back then might be the same killer who murdered the 3 explorers. To appease the public, the local police department announced they would reopen the investigation. Riding the wave of renewed interest, a film crew locates a woman in Ohio. This film crew is also a team of paranormal enthusiasts. The person in charge wants to compile information about Riley to produce a program for social media. The woman being interviewed is named Mia, Riley's older sister. Since her sister disappeared in the oak forest, Mia has been trying to find her. In the past few years, she has entered the forest multiple times, but found nothing. Facing the camera, Mia recalls the past. The reason Riley liked filming supernatural events so much was that since childhood, she could see entities that others could not. However, the young Riley was not afraid. Instead, she was obsessed with the existence of the other world. She drew what she saw on paper. As she grew up, Riley formed her own film crew and embarked on paranormal investigations. Because of her unique filming style and authentic footage, Riley's channel quickly became #1 in her niche. She not only gained millions of followers, but also earned the nickname Paranormal Paranoid. But who could have known that just as Riley's career was in full swing, the team would vanish in Shelby Oaks? The long search left Mia exhausted. She has since given up searching and started a new family with her husband, Robert. However, halfway through the interview, Mia's doorbell suddenly rings. Mia interrupts the interview, but when she opens the door, she finds a stranger standing outside. Before Mia can ask anything, the man suddenly raises a weapon in his hand. Looking at the man on the ground, Mia is completely stunned. However, amidst her panic, she suddenly notices the man is holding a videotape. She quietly hides the tape. Receiving the call, the police arrive at the scene immediately, and agents load the man onto an ambulance. Fortunately, the camera crew was rolling when the man knocked, capturing the entire process. So Mia is not suspected and does not need to go to the station for questioning. After the police leave, Mia goes upstairs and plays the videotape the man was holding on her TV. When the footage plays, Mia discovers that the tape contains the entire process of her sister Riley traveling to Shelby Oaks to film her show. At the time, the crew was interviewing people in a settlement near the town, but halfway through an interview, Riley suddenly stares blankly at an abandoned building. Seeing a nervous Riley, Peter assumes it is just for show, but before Peter can figure out what is happening, Riley walks away in a panic. The footage suddenly cuts off at this point. In the next second, Riley appears at the town's abandoned amusement park. It is said that the fire started in the amusement park and spread to the town, eventually causing the tragedy. During the shoot, Riley comes to a tree and finds a mark on it. Curious, she examines it carefully. However, as they venture deeper into the abandoned town, Peter suddenly notices someone seems to be following them from outside the house. But when Peter opens the door, there is nothing outside, only a chair rocking by the entrance. They assume it is a local passing by and don't pay much attention. At night, they stay in a homestay on the outskirts of the forest. Just as they are discussing the next steps of filming, a girl's scream suddenly comes from the distance. The group looks back and realizes the sound is coming from an old house nearby. But they had visited that old house during the day. It was long abandoned and uninhabited. Peter thinks they have captured a legendary supernatural phenomenon, so he leads them to rush over. However, when they arrive in the forest, they find the screams are coming from all directions. Panicked, they try to return to their lodging, but they fail to notice something following them from behind. A dark figure enters the hotel and brutally kills Peter, David, and Laura, then sets its sights on Riley. Looking at the man in the video, Mia recalls the incident from earlier that day. The kidnapper in the video seems to be the same man who committed suicide at her door. However, before Mia can recover from the shock, a strange noise suddenly comes from outside the window. Seeing the shattered glass, Mia thinks someone has broken in. She grabs a baseball bat and goes outside, but there is no one there. Hearing the commotion, Robert chases after her. Mia tells her husband about the videotape. After watching the tape, Robert feels the situation is complicated and suggests they hand the tape over to the police. Mia agrees that this makes sense. Early the next morning, Mia and her husband rush to the police station. From the police, Mia learns that the man who committed suicide at her door yesterday was named Wilson, a resident living near the oak forest. Years ago, Wilson was sent to prison for inadvertently causing serious injury to someone. But after his release, Wilson seemed to vanish. Police could find no information on his identity, not even a bank account, until he suddenly appeared outside Mia's house yesterday. As for the tape Wilson brought, the police need to investigate further. Hearing the police notification, Mia feels something is wrong. Why did Wilson go to her house to commit suicide? Did he really kidnap Riley? To find out if Riley's disappearance is related to Wilson, Mia goes to the library. In a newspaper, she finds the news about Wilson causing death by negligence, which also lists his address. While reviewing the materials, Mia makes an unexpected discovery. On the back of the newspaper, she sees a strange symbol, the exact same mark Riley found on the big tree in the amusement park. Returning home, Mia carefully reviews the video. While comparing the marks, she spots a figure in the background of the footage. Although the image is blurry, Mia can vaguely tell that this figure looks very similar to Wilson. Mia suspects that the figure the crew saw outside the house back then might have been Wilson. While rewatching the video, Mia makes another discovery. When Riley was filming the town's abandoned prison, she sees that symbol in the frame again. Mia checks carefully and finds that the cell Riley was filming was the exact one where Wilson had been detained. Mia drives to the prison overnight. Because of the fire, the prison has long been abandoned. Although many places are burned, the cell numbers are still on the walls. Following the numbers, Mia finds Wilson's cell, and in the corner she sees that mark again. But what does this mark have to do with Riley's disappearance? Just then, a roar suddenly echoes through the corridor. Panic-stricken, Mia turns to see a hound in the hallway. However, when she looks up again, the hound has vanished. Leaving the prison, Mia doesn't go home, but drives to the amusement park Riley filmed. On the big tree from the video, Mia finds the mark. Although more than a decade has passed, the mark is still clearly visible. Mia looks around to see if there are similar patterns on other trees. However, she encounters the hound again, but this time, the hound does not attack her. Instead, it turns and runs toward a small path behind it. Curious, Mia follows the hound. Passing through the forest, Mia finds a cabin at the foot of the mountain. The lights are on, indicating someone lives there. Mia assumes it is a normal household and doesn't pay much attention. But just as she is about to leave, she looks back and sees sticks stood up on the ground, arranged in the shape of that strange mark. Hearing a shout, Mia looks up to find a woman not far away. The woman calls herself Norma, the owner of the cabin. Thinking Mia is a lost adventurer, she warmly invites her in to rest. Mia walks into Norma's house without thinking much. However, as soon as she enters, she smells a moldy stench. She looks around and realizes the house is covered in mold spots. Norma even brings out moldy cookies to treat Mia. Although she feels refusing is rude, Mia declines. During their chat, Mia learns that Norma is a native who has lived here for over 60 years. She takes out a photo of Riley and asks Norma if she has seen the girl in the picture. Norma shakes her head, indicating she hasn't. Mia feels her behavior was a bit abrupt, so she puts away the photo and starts chatting with Norma about daily life. She asks if Norma lives alone. Norma says she has a son, but she hasn't seen him for the past few days. Mid-sentence, Norma points to a spot nearby. Mia looks back and sees a photo of Norma and her son on the wall. When she gets closer, she discovers that Norma's son is Wilson, the man who committed suicide at her doorstep 2 days ago. This sudden revelation puts Mia on high alert. She uses the excuse of being hungry to ask Norma if there is any food. Norma remembers there are some noodles in the fridge and gets up to go to the kitchen. As Norma walks past, Mia quietly takes out her phone and sends her location to her husband. Just after sending the text, Mia spots a photo album nearby. She flips through it and discovers Riley's photos inside. In the photos, Riley's hands are bound, and she is wearing a wedding dress, with Wilson standing beside her. Mia flips further back and sees more photos of Riley. In these, Riley has a big belly, appearing pregnant. However, in the next photo, Riley's belly is small again, but her dress is covered in bloodstains. She sees Wilson digging holes in a clearing, seemingly burying something, and above each small pit, sticks are inserted in the shape she saw outside. Looking at Riley in the photos, Mia finally realizes the missing Riley was actually kidnapped by Wilson.
She was strong.
Where is she?
She's being given the chance to touch greatness.
Tell me where she is right now!
Hearing Norma's words, Mia also realizes the woman is the perpetrator who kidnapped her sister. She angrily demands to know if Riley is still alive. Norma doesn't answer but walks to the living room and opens a trap door in the floor. She looks back at Mia and says, Riley is right below. If Mia wants to take Riley, she can do so at any time. Learning her sister is alive, Mia follows Norma to the basement. Passing through a dark corridor, she sees a cell enclosed by iron mesh. The missing Riley is imprisoned here. Hearing Mia's shout, Riley turns her head in disbelief. Just then, Mia sees the key on a stone platform nearby. She picks it up and opens the iron door. However, strangely, Norma is standing right there, but does not stop Mia. Although she doesn't know why Norma is letting her find Riley so easily, Mia doesn't hesitate. She takes Riley and leaves the basement. Worried Norma might change her mind and chase them, she locks the trapdoor. But as she turns back to close it, she sees a dark shadow behind Norma. Upon reaching the living room, Riley panics and runs to the second floor. Mia hurriedly chases after her. Upstairs, Mia sees Riley staring blankly outside a room, from which the sound of a baby crying can be heard. Thinking Riley wants to take the child, Mia pushes the door open. However, when the door opens, Mia sees Norma, who was locked in the basement, has somehow reached the second floor. She takes out a dagger, cuts her arm, and blood immediately flows toward the cradle. Before Mia can figure out what is happening, Norma raises her arm and looks at the ceiling above. Mia looks up and finds a wolf skin hanging above Norma. There is a symbol on the wolf skin, the exact same one she saw in the prison earlier. Seeing Norma's behavior, Riley, who was in a daze, seems to remember something. She rushes at Norma to stop her. Mia wants to help, but is pushed away directly by a force. She looks back to see Riley floating in midair. Recovering her senses, Mia hurriedly hugs Riley. Fortunately, her sister is not injured. Having completed the ritual, Norma is drained of strength and crawls weakly to a corner. Mia looks back and discovers many photos on the wall. They are all photos of Wilson with other girls, and one of them is Riley. Opposite Riley's photo is a photo of Mia herself. Before Mia can react, Norma lies on the ground, motionless. Mia gets closer and discovers Norma is dead. Just then, Robert, who received the text, arrives at the scene with the police. With their help, Riley and the child are sent to the hospital. Through the police investigation, Mia learns the whole story of Riley's kidnapping. It turns out Norma was a fanatical cultist who wanted to bring about the reincarnation of a demon. To achieve this goal, she and her son Wilson kidnapped several female explorers and forced Wilson to have children with them. The photos Mia saw on the wall were of the victims. Over the past 12 years, several victims died during resistance or childbirth. Only Riley survived, but Riley's first few children all died prematurely. Just a few days ago, Riley gave birth to another child, the one Norma believed to be the perfect vessel. Wilson, having completed his task, finally broke free from his mother's control. Riddled with guilt, he brought the videotape to Mia's house. He gave the tape to Mia when he committed suicide, which allowed Mia to find the cabin in the back mountain based on the clues. Although she found Norma and Wilson's behavior deeply twisted, she was grateful that her sister was still alive. After a few days of treatment, Riley quickly recovers her health. Mia takes Riley and the child back home, wanting her to rest there. However, that evening, Riley picks up a pillow and walks toward the child. Mia thinks Riley cannot accept the child's existence and tries to persuade her not to do anything rash. But who could have known that Riley is determined to kill the child? Mia tries to stop her, but Riley is faster. In their struggle, Mia accidentally pushes her sister. Unexpectedly, Riley rolls out of the window and falls. By the time Mia reacts, Riley is no longer breathing. However, amidst her grief, Mia fails to notice something standing behind her. Clearly, the story about the demon has only just begun, but the movie ends here. This concludes the latest thriller movie of 2025, Shelby Oaks. That's all for today. See you next time.